That night, Shanghai seemed as usual. Neon lights flashed, traffic throbbed, and life moved non-stop. But beneath the hustle and bustle, a silent arrival changed everything. Without announcement, without cameras, without media scrutiny, Wang Yibo quietly set foot in the city. No one knew for sure, but one thing was clear: something big was brewing. The news started as a whisper. One fan spotted a familiar figure in the airport VIP area. Then another claimed to have seen a suspicious motorcade heading downtown. Within hours, speculation spread like wildfire. Was this really him? And if so, why was everything done so quietly? The timing of his arrival was no coincidence. It was just days before the 2026 China GT Championship kicked off at the Shanghai International Circuit. The circuit, known for its technical corners and long straights, would be a major stage for the best drivers. And now, the looming presence of Wang Yibo was adding to the tension. In racing, preparation is everything. There's no room for error. Every second of practice, every engine setting, every strategy, everything determined the outcome. If Wang Yibo had truly arrived early and quietly, it wasn't just a casual visit. It was a sign of seriousness. Over the past few months, his name had been rarely heard on the track. Many wondered if he was still focused on racing, or had another career taken over. But it was precisely that silence that now felt suspicious, like a storm waiting for the right moment. For his loyal fans, this news was a shocking shock. They knew Wang Yibo not just as a celebrity, but as a figure of extraordinary discipline in the world of motorsport. His silence didn't mean he was quitting, it was preparing for something bigger. Behind the scenes, racing teams were becoming wary. Wang Yibo wasn't just a household name. He was a competitor who had proven his abilities on the track. If he truly returned, the competitive landscape of this year's China GT could change drastically. Some inside sources even mentioned that there were closed practice sessions held late at night. There was no publicity, no official documentation. Only the sound of engines broke the silence of the night around the circuit. Was that him? No one can be certain, but many believe so. This silence actually creates even greater suspense than an official announcement. Because in the world of competition, surprise is the most dangerous weapon. And Wang Yibo seems to understand that all too well. Many analysts have begun to attribute this move to psychological strategy. By not announcing his arrival, he's caught his opponents off guard. There's no recent data, no performance to analyze. He's a puzzle that's hard to solve. Meanwhile, fans continue to hunt for clues. Blurry photos, short videos, even small rumors. All are analyzed diligently. Every detail is considered crucial, because in situations like this, small things can be big clues. But some believe this isn't just about racing. This silent arrival might have another agenda. A major project? A collaboration? Or even something completely unexpected. These possibilities make the story even more intriguing. On the other hand, the pressure is certainly not small. A comeback, if it does happen, is no easy feat. The world of racing waits for no one. Every driver is constantly improving. Every team is constantly innovating. To make a comeback and compete, it takes more than just a big name. But if there's one thing Wang Yibo is known for, it's his ability to handle pressure. He's not the type to back down when challenges arise. On the contrary, he often emerges stronger in the most difficult situations. The nights in Shanghai feel different now. There's a sense of curiosity hanging in the air. Every engine sound, every movement around the circuit seems to hold a story yet to be told. And as race day approaches, one question continues to resonate. Is this really a comeback? Or just part of a larger strategy? If he does take to the track, all eyes will be on him. Not just because of his popularity, but because of the mystery surrounding him. He's not just a participant, he's the main story. In a world full of scrutiny, choosing to move quietly is a bold move. And often such moves have the greatest impact. Now, it's all a matter of time. Will this silence turn into a major explosion on the track? Or will it hold an even more shocking surprise? One thing is certain. When Wang Yibo finally shows himself, the world will never be the same. And perhaps, We are all witnessing the beginning of something extraordinary. Amidst this uncertainty, some witnesses are starting to speak out more boldly. A local technician claims to have seen a figure strikingly similar to Wang Yibo in the paddock area in the early hours of the morning. He wasn't alone. A small team appeared to be working quickly, as if time were an enemy to be defeated. The activity didn't last long, but it was enough to leave a trail. Old tires, the sound of engines that had been roaring, and the lingering scent of fuel in the air. All of this was evidence that something was indeed happening. Not just rumors, but real preparations that were being deliberately hidden. Meanwhile, some motorsport journalists were beginning to smell something strange. Typically, in the lead-up to the 2026 China GT Championship, various teams would actively share their activities. But this time, there was a strange information gap, as if a crucial element was being deliberately withheld from the public. The competitors were starting to get nervous. They knew that the presence of someone like Wang Yibo wasn't just about driving ability, but also about mentality. He was known for his quick reading of situations, making decisions under pressure, and exploiting even the slightest openings on the track. Meanwhile, around the Shanghai International Circuit, security seemed slightly tighter than usual. It wasn't blatant, but it was noticeable to those accustomed to being there. It was as if something was being guarded, or someone was being shielded from the public eye. The few fans who dared to come to the venue could only wait outside the fence, hoping to catch a glimpse of their idol. But all they encountered was silence and limited activity. There was no confirmation, no denial. The mystery remained intact. In a world saturated with instant information, this strategy of silence felt even more powerful. Without the need to speak, without the need to appear, attention was completely focused. And that's what was happening now. Wang Yibo's name was once again dominating the conversation, even before he actually appeared. If this was indeed part of a grand plan, then every move had been meticulously calculated. The timing of his arrival, the way he moved, and the minimal footprint he left behind, all of it betrayed a remarkable level of control over the situation. And as race day approached, a feeling began to pervade everyone that a major moment was just around the corner. Whether it was a spectacular comeback or some other surprise yet to be revealed, one thing became increasingly clear. This silence wasn't the end of the story, but rather the beginning of something far more profound. The tension was now palpable in almost every corner of the track. The crews worked at a faster pace. The drivers maintained their focus, but the thought of Wang Yibo's possible appearance continued to haunt their minds. No one truly knew when or how he would appear, but everyone was preparing as if it could happen at any moment. In the stands, which were beginning to fill with spectators, whispers about him became the main topic. Shanghai was now no longer just a race, but a moment that would likely be remembered for a long time. Many had come not just to watch the competition, but to see if this mystery would be solved before their eyes. And as the seconds to the race drew closer, one thing was certain. If Wang Yibo actually stepped onto the track, it wouldn't be just a participation. It would be a statement, a signal that he had returned, not just to be present, but to change the course of the game.